Hello, the story I'm about to share with you guys stems from somewhere around the late 1990s and the early 2000s, somewhere in the western part of Africa, in Nigeria, where some brothers were turned into vultures because of money ritual. Scary, right? Please, kindly drop into the comment section and air your views. Let's have a little chit-chat. Tell me what you feel about the story. Well, you guys have to stick to the very end of the story to understand exactly how it happened. Well, before I will do that, I'll give a little background for those that don't understand what a vulture is. Vulture is a scavenging bird of prey. A group of vultures is called a kettle, committee or wake. The term kettle refers to vulture in flight. Committee refers to vulture resting on the ground or in the trees, while wake is reserved for a group of vultures that are feeding. The vulture clan is a rare cult, mostly amongst some set of important people who are mostly Igbo people and very wealthy people. They believe in the vulture god who gives unimaginable quick wealth. But before one joins the cult, he must take a bold step to change his mind and his belief system before initiation. After this, the man is said to turn into a vulture and travel to the darkest part of the forest to feed on dead animals, mostly human flesh, for 7 days. And afterwards, no words will be heard from him until after the time elapses. He will then transform back into a human being, and almost immediately, all doors will be opened. He will be visited by almost all people for business proposals, but at a very terrible consequence. He will not know peace. He will always have to feed on human flesh at pre-selected time, and his body will always deteriorate very fast. He will experience multiple organ failure, no rest of mind, and every year a member of the cult will donate one of their loved ones. The members turns into vultures and feed on the loved one that has been donated. And if you're out of people for donations, close friends may also be considered. This belief has it that there have been rare cases of people who transformed into vultures and became stuck and can never transform back into their original human skin. When they try to transform back, they either get stuck in the vulture skin. This background sounds scary already, but this story made waves around 1996 to the early 2000s in Nigeria and the whole of West Africa, even though there was no social media at that time, but we had the stories printed on calendars sold in every market from the cities to the villages. Now, we move to the real story of the man called Okichuku from October 1996. From the diaries of Okichuku, I read, I was living in fear as what my life will become. I had no job, no money. Responsibilities just kept coming. My wife was pregnant and I was not sure I had money to take her to the hospital. My parents looked frowned on me because I couldn't cater for their needs. I had just 3 shirts, few trousers given to me by my brother. I fasted and prayed, all to no avail. I started contemplating suicide. One day I bumped into a friend who was very wealthy, and he took care of me and all of my needs. He was more than a friend. He was good to me. He had me on his mind. I constantly told him to help me to secure something. But anytime I raised the discussion, he will do nothing about it until one day I was bold enough to hold him that if he doesn't help me, I will take my life. To my surprise, he said he will get back to me later. After a while, he invited me to his house. I spent the night there. We talked and talked until it was midnight. He then asked me if I am ready to make money. I did not understand the question. Immediately, all of a sudden, vultures started coming through the window. They transformed quickly into human beings. I became so petrified and I was overwhelmed by fear. I was told I had to make up my mind to join them before the daybreak, or else I will die. I thought about it for some several minutes. Having imagined a life without comfort, I finally agreed to join them without thinking of the terms and conditions or consequences. Immediately, I was given a drink. It was not funny in taste. It was somehow bitter. They all welcomed me into the brotherhood. Immediately, I was transformed into a vulture like them. At that point, I knew I had the mind of both a human and an animal, because once you transform, the animal controls you. I traveled and fed on dead human flesh for 7 days, though I couldn't remember eating those things. But when I transformed back to a human, I had some flesh stuck in between my teeth and I had frequent nausea. The next thing I received was a letter confirming my application from an oil company. Not only that, but big opportunities just kept showing up at my door. I said to myself, is this a coincidence or something? I had so much money in the shortest time limit, but I never knew that was just the beginning of my sorrows. We had meetings regularly. Most often, I would transform into a vulture and join my cult members, eat raw human flesh donated by their loved ones. Of course, other cult members. One day, it was then my turn. With sorrow, I donated my brother, my sister, and some family members. When I was out of who to donate, I had to donate my mother. That day, I was filled with sorrow. My life appeared empty for the very first time. After that incident, I had to donate my mechanic. At that point, my main problem started. My mechanic had extra superpowers I couldn't just imagine. Sometimes he would seize me from transforming into a vulture and would beat me with a spanner coupled with other working tools he had. My brotherhood members couldn't do anything for me as they said it's my cross to bear. The spirit ended up killing all of my group members. He left me alive in torment before he departed for good. He made me mad. I got myself after a while. All the money were gone. I was totally down in health. My lust for money had ended. I was back to square one. Will I ever come out of this? I asked myself. What will become of me? The whole of my neighborhood pointed fingers at me, knowing that I was fully involved in rituals. No one was willing to even employ me. I could not get food to eat. Lucky enough, at last I got employed as a cleaner in a company. With all the riches, I went back to cleaning job. After all this, I had to narrate the whole of the story to my friend, where he wrote a song for me titled Madu Holu Udele, meaning human turns to vulture. This story may sound fictional, but ritual killing is something that has become predominantly rampant. And this is to serve as a lesson for every single one that is thinking of making money ritual. Well, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing for more contents like this. And if you're a returning viewer, thanks for always coming back. Were you around when these stories were making waves? Tell me in the comment section. But the last point I'll leave you guys with is that no matter how much you make from ritual money, it will always end in a miserable way. And this is a lesson to the young millennials that are rushing to make money rituals.